everyone in our Empowered Women's Program. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Roxanne. For those of you who know me, I'm Roxanne. That's my silly little joke. So what this is today is your rest and roll practice. So if you look in your calendar, you're going to see on Sundays, you have a rest and roll to do. Well, this is what it is. We're going to go through about 20 minutes or so of just moving our joints, moving our bodies, nice light stretching, and actually rolling through our bodies as well. Even though this is in your schedule for just on Mondays, or just on Sundays, sorry, it would be a great idea if you can do this every night before bed. We live in a world where we're constantly pushing the limits, pushing our bodies, pushing our minds, pushing our emotions. And so when we constantly push, it creates an imbalance, and we forget and we aren't sure how to rest and restore and rejuvenate. And that is so important. So resting and rolling is very, very important in through the body. We're also going to be starting off with a breathing practice to allow us to release the thoughts of the mind. So release that wandering mind as much as we can. As you're rolling, you will likely have all kinds of thoughts, and that's okay. But just be mindful if you can notice how it feels in your body, where it hurts, where it feels good, where you feel specific discomforts. Just take a moment to notice. So what you will need is, I have a massage stick here. We have them at the studio. If you don't have one, that's okay. If you would like one like this, and this is $25, you're welcome to buy one off of us, and it has little ridges. But guess what? You don't need one. If you have a rolling pin in your house, works perfectly fine. You can still roll. You don't get the little ridges, but you still really do get some of the benefits as well. I'm also using a yoga tune-up ball, which we also have at the studio. They're smushy. They're really good for getting into the myofascial tissue. We're going to be using them just on the soles of our feet. If you don't have one of these, all good. A tennis ball works nicely. Racket balls work well as well, except they're really hard, so they're really stiff. You might notice that it might not feel too great, but it's another option. So as always, you have stuff at home that you can do and you can start with right now. If you don't have a rolling pin, a PVC pipe, even a baseball bat works fine. So anything that you can just kind of roll on your body. You can even use just your hands, which I'm going to show you as well. So let's start. I'm going to come over and I'm going to stand on a mat. If you don't have a mat, it's all good, no worries. Okay, so we're just going to start in a standing position. All we're going to do is just notice our posture first off. When we're standing in posture, and we might be dropping into the hip, we might be locking those knees, we might be kind of rolling forward. This might be our posture, and that's okay. Let's take a moment to just be mindful of our posture. So let's bring our legs so that they're about hip distance apart. Spread our toes nice and wide. Let's connect the soles of the feet through the inner and the outer edges of the balls of the feet and the inner and outer of the heels as well. So I want you to imagine that you have an elastic around the arch of your foot and you're drawing that elastic up. So you're pulling the energy up and placing it over top of your hips. So can you feel sort of a lengthening effect? Let's soften through our knees. Now let's bring our attention to our pelvic floor, all the way around through our pelvic floor. And then just imagine kind of drawing that energy up. So sort of pulling up sensation. You might think of it as when you feel as though you have to urinate, that you're sort of stopping it for a moment. That might work as well. But think of it more as a collective action. So it's all around, it's not just in one area. We're going to lift and draw up through the belly button as well. Not so much that you can't breathe, but just enough that you find that connection there. And our shoulders are going to draw up and then back. But once they're back, not to be so quick to stick with it, just let those shoulders relax so that we have our ankles being underneath our hips and our shoulders being in line with our ankles and our hips and our feet. Okay, so with our head, notice where your head is. If your head is really drawn forward, then that's okay. Just notice if you can lift up just a little bit more and lengthen so that your head is also in line with all those points. And if it's not, that's completely fine. So we're just going to start off with some deep breaths now. I'd like you to take your hand and place it on top of your belly. And when we take a nice inhale, we just kind of relax and feel the expansion of the belly. And when we take an exhale, we're going to pull the belly button in, pull the belly button, the pelvic floor in and up. Breathe out. Breathe in, relax everything. And breathe out, pull up. So as you're breathing out, imagine that you're pulling up a slide. You're walking up a slide. And when you breathe in, you're sliding down that slide. It's very gentle. Let's try that 2 more times. Breathe in, relax the belly button. Breathe out, pull up. Breathe in, relax everything, let everything flow down. And breathe out, pull up. Awesome. And then relax here for a moment. So this can be the breath that you choose throughout this practice if you like. If you'd like to find a different breathing practice at the end of the video, I'll tell you where you can find some more. Very simple, easy ones. So what we're going to start off with now is just a little bit of rolls through our wrists. Our wrists and our forearms take a lot as we type. If we spend a lot of time typing, do a lot of gripping, we might lose the rotation through our wrists and through our forearms. So just kind of going in one direction and then the other. You can also bend and straighten one leg. That feels really nice in the legs as well. If you're feeling little cracks, that's awesome. Think of it as relieving some space. So creating some more space, relieving some pressure, I should say. So let's bring one arm out in front of us, palm facing forward towards your body. Grab onto it and give it a nice pull. Turn to the side to show you. So it's really stretching now through the forearms a little deeper, drawing the shoulders back and down. And then we're going to switch and lift up the hand this time, straight up, pull it all the way back, and then shoulder back and down. And if this feels good to do this longer, do it longer. Do it as long as you like. Let's switch hands. Bring the other hand in. And then let's slowly bring that hand all the way up, switching that position, taking it back. Perfect. Now let's relax for a moment. Let's kind of roll through our elbows. You might hear little cricks and cracks through the elbows as well. This is simple stuff that we don't really think of doing throughout the day. We instinctively know that we might need something like this, but we may not do it, and that's okay. It might feel boring to you, but it'll allow you to come back into the body, to rest and digest. So let's roll through our shoulders a little bit. Nice little shoulder circles, shoulder rolls. These actions, all that we're doing in the beginning here before we roll, is also beautiful things to do in the morning when you wake up. When you feel the stiffness in the morning, try some of these. Well, let's go forward now with our shoulders, just rolling the shoulders forward. These big shoulder rolls. Kind of noticing what you're feeling through your neck and see if you can slow it down a little bit. Now let's get into the cervical spine, into the neck. When we breathe out, let's draw our chin down towards our chest. Just relax your shoulders. When you breathe in, look all the way up to the sky. Open and relax the jaw. And we're creating some space in through the jaw as well. If you get that ringing in your ear, there's a lot of pressure in through here. So we need to open it up and create some more space. Exhale down. And then let's come all the way back up one more time. And then create some small little circles through that head. So just rolling around one way. Nice and small. Nice and big if you like. And then the other way. And continuing to breathe as you're breathing out, drawing up, pulling up, finding that connection to the core. You're breathing out slowly, relaxing it. Awesome. Now we're going to get into our back a little bit more. So we're going to start to hinge from our hips. Bend and soften those knees. I'm going to show you here. I'm going to hinge forward through the hips. And then I'm going to slowly just start to come back up. And just notice what you feel in through your back, if you feel any pressure. You can have your hands to the sides if you like. And we're just creating that little bend through the hips. Keep the back nice and long. So notice how I'm not rounding through my back and dropping. I'm staying lifted, I'm staying long. Imagining that you're having a teacup on your back. When you come down, you don't want to spill it. So the next time we come all the way down, we're going to create a little more movement through the spine. We're going to ripple through the spine. So right now, stick your booty out a little bit. Drop your chest. Bring your shoulders back. Look forward. Take a nice inhale. On the exhale, slowly through the glutes first, start to round through the low back. Find that rounding one vertebrae at a time, lifting up through the back, drawing chin in towards the chest. And then continue to flow. This one you might really feel a whole lot of heat start to move and run through your body. Beautiful lubrication for the spine. And then just continue to flow a couple more times. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth if you like. And noticing what you're feeling as you're doing this. Maybe your legs are feeling a little tired, a little sore. That's okay. Let's come back through center. Let's slowly lift all the way back up. Good, now we're gonna take our hands together. We can wrap our fingers around like so if we like. Bring our arms all the way up to the sky. We're gonna do a little bit of a side bend now. So lateral bend through the spine. Inhale, lift. Exhale, small little bend. So stay lifted out of those hips and small little bend. So it's not about bending as far as you possibly can and losing the integrity of this pull, of this stretch, this lengthening. And come back up through center. And then the opposite side. Notice if you can bring your shoulders away from your ears as well. So we're trying to not squish your ears with your shoulders. Let's come all the way back through center. We're gonna create a small, gentle twist now. So bring the arms out nice and wide. Deep breath, inhale. On the exhale, twist just below the ribs over towards your left side. So slowly twisting, keeping your hips facing forward as much as you can. Let's come back through center, inhale. Exhale the opposite side. Some nice little lateral bends or rotational twists, sorry. Let's come back through center one more time on each side. Keeping the knees nice and soft. And notice how I'm not twisting through the rest of my body. The legs stay exactly as they are, just the spine, just the torso rotates. Let's come back through center. So we're going to come into a little bit of a balancing pose, just to a nice little gentle stretch on the front of the thighs. I'm going to turn to the side to show you. You can bring that leg all the way up if you like, and then just sort of stay right here, hand on the wall if you wish. If you can, grab onto the leg, but let's keep the knees side by side. Let's try and stand up and out of this hip, so lift and lengthen. Knees are side by side, squeeze the glutes. Now you feel a greater pull on the front of that leg. And then let's slowly release the leg, and let's switch to the other side. Stand nice and tall. Remember at the beginning how we're placing all the pressure in our foot on the inner and outer edges. When you're ready, grab onto that foot, lift up out of the hips. Keep the hips nice and level if you can. Grab onto a wall, grab onto a chair if you need to. Find a spot on the ground to look on, that really helps. And then gently release. Awesome. We're going to shake the legs out a little bit. So shake. I'm just going to do a total body shake. Shake everywhere. So where do you feel most of your pains? Where do you feel most of your tightness? Is it in your back? Is it in your legs? Is it in your hips? Is it in your shoulders, your neck? So now we're going to come to the feet just a little bit and into the legs after when we start to roll. So all you're going to do is just kind of flex that foot back. Toes on the ground, balls of the foot on the ground. You're just going to kind of gently rock from one side to the other. So I can show you this way. I'm going out, and then I'm coming in. Just to notice how you feel in through the foot. Notice how you feel in through the knee. And we're going to get into the back of the leg. So let's take that same leg, send it forward. Find that hinge through the hips, sitting back. So trying not to sit back like this. Sit straight back. Good. We can even pull on the top of the foot. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it's up to you. When you're ready, let's slowly bring ourselves back up, and let's switch to the other side. So take that other foot, send it behind you, balls of the foot, toes on the ground, and then come out one side, and then back in. Be gentle with it. Any issues in the ankles, we really want to just gently rock it. This is very gentle. When you're ready, let's take that leg, bring the leg forward, hinge from the hips, so sit straight back, and just hold here for a moment. Feel the nice lengthening all through the back of the leg. And then when you're ready, let's come all the way back up. We're going to open up through our chest a little bit. Let's take our hands, palms facing forward, stay right here. Another option is to reach behind your back, clasp your hands together, roll your shoulders back as much as you can, fists in the low back. This might be it. Another option, to reach your hands down towards your bum. Stay right here, stay nice and tall. Another option, to bring your arms away from your back, but still pulling your shoulders back and down. So you're gonna get a nice stretch all across the chest, mainly in those shoulders. So be mindful of any issues in the shoulders. And then let's slowly begin to release our arms just for a moment. We're going to do the same thing to round through our upper back. So we're going to bring our arms forward, We can clasp our hands together if we like, and we can just simply draw the shoulders forward, and then draw the shoulders back if you like. Draw them forward, and draw them back. Now if you want a little more rounding, what we can do is clasp the fingers together, flip the palms, open everything up. This is a really nice stretch through the forearms as well, and we get into the back. We want to get into the back a little deeper. On the exhale, pull the shoulders forward, draw the chin and chest forward if you like, and think about opening across the mid-back, in between the shoulder blades. Tough spot to get into. And then let's slowly begin to lift our head, release our arms down to our sides, and then shake everything out again. So if you have a rolling pin, grab your rolling pin. If you have the massage stick and you prefer to use that, go right ahead. We're gonna get into the low back and into the glutes. Really nice area where we feel a lot of tension too, so it feels really good. That's what I mean by that. So we're gonna grab onto the stick, bring it around behind us, and then just start on one back, or one side of the back, I should say. It works well if you have your rolling pin as well. And then just holding onto it however it works for you. You can do this standing, you can do this seated if you prefer. Whatever way you prefer is best. And then just continue to roll. And I like to bend my knees, hinge forward from my hips just a little bit, and just kind of get into the side of the glutes here. So getting into the piriformis, getting into the sciatic area where we may feel a lot of pain drawing down into our legs, radiating down there. And then you can come into the back again, into the center of the back if you like, and just sort of rolling up and down. You can also have someone else do this for you. Let's go to the opposite side. Just roll up and down, notice how that feels. And then if you like, hinge forward, around to the back a little bit. If you want to, that's completely fine. If you stay nice and flat, you'll feel a difference. So you just notice what you feel in the side of your glutes there. Good, and now we're gonna come back to the center. We're gonna do standing our thighs. Our thighs, the big powerhouse of the body. So we're just gonna roll forward and back, up and down onto the thigh, in the front, in the side, in the middle, anywhere you like. We're also gonna do this laying down as well. You'll feel a difference when you do it being up tall like this. Before we get deeper into the legs in seated position, we're gonna work on our feet a little tiny bit. And then let's do the other leg, just sort of up and down. Be mindful to breathe. Notice what you feel as you breathe. Let's breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you breathe out, think of all the stress that I put on my body. I'm releasing it just for now so that it can rebuild, restore, rest, so that we can continue to build. And then let's come all the way back up. We're gonna release this just for a moment. Grab onto your tennis ball. You're just gonna place the tennis ball under the sole of the foot, right in the center of the foot, right in the arch. Now this, you may wanna do a lot longer than what we do in this little series here. Completely welcome to do so. All we're gonna do from here is just kind of lean forward, put a little bit of pressure, and then back off. And then we're also going to rotate our foot from one side to the other. So your pinky toe goes towards the ground, then that big toe goes towards the ground. And we can do this higher up in the arch under the ball of the foot if we like. Good, and then now we're going to roll forward back. So you actually lift your heel, find your balance, grab onto a wall if you wish, and just roll forward and back now. All the way forward, all the way back. Just do what feels right for you, what feels good for you. And thank our feet for moving us all over this world all the time. And give them a little love too, they need it. And whenever you're ready, it's awesome, switch to the opposite side. Notice how that foot feels though now. As you stand there, you're like, oh, wait a second, just from that little tiny bit of rolling, this foot feels a little more relaxed, a little less stressed out. Bring it to the arch of the other foot, place the heel on the ground, and then just start by just gently pressing and releasing, noticing where it feels okay for you. And then you can roll to the inside of the foot, and then to the outside of the foot. I'm going to just continue a couple more times. And then we're going to go forward and back. Just forward and back a couple more times, and then kind of notice how that feels. Awesome, and then release. So let's come now all the way down to the ground. So however it works for you, come all the way down. We're going to come into a seated posture, and we're going to go back into rolling our thighs. Now that we're sitting, it feels a little bit different on the thighs. Our thighs can relax a little bit. You're welcome to sit on top of a pillow. So I have a bolster pillow here, which is just basically a harder pillow, or you don't have to. So that's completely up to you. Let's grab onto our stick again, or grab onto your rolling pin, and then now just begin to roll the quadriceps once again. Now you'll feel a lot different here. We're gonna roll through our quadriceps on the inside, on the outside, and then your leg's gonna start to feel heavy and feel very relaxed. This is a beautiful thing to do, this full series when we're sitting before bed, especially if you have restless legs. They twitch at night. You cannot relax your legs. This is an amazing thing to do before bed, help you sleep. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to bend through the knee, placing the foot on the ground, the heel on the ground. Grab the stick and go underneath, and let's do the back of the thigh now, and the inner and outer edges as well. So coming into the hamstrings. And just continue to roll, continue to breathe as you roll. The beauty of this is that you can go as hard or as light as you like. Do what works for you. Body work is one of the best things we can do to reconnect to our body. To get out of our mind a little bit, out of our thoughts. To bring ourselves into the present moment, into awareness. So now we're going to go down into the calf as well. So just gently roll up and down through the calf. You can go on the inner and the outer edges of the calf as well. You're also welcome to go on top on the shin. The bones are higher there, closer to the skin, right? So you might not notice, might not feel as great, but again, whatever works for you. Completely up to you. Now then just notice where you feel those little lumps, where you feel those little bumps. Those are little areas of tension, little areas of tightness, knots in the muscles and even in the fascia as well. So let's come to the other leg. Just straighten out that leg. Notice how that leg feels. Now it's like, oh, okay, I can feel my leg, but it feels very tired and heavy, but that's good. So let's go to the opposite side. Right on top of the thigh, on the inside, on the top and on the outside. Wherever you're feeling those areas of tension, tightness. As you continue to roll. Again, with this section, if you want to do it much longer than this video series is, then feel free to go much longer. Bending through the knee, let's do the back of the thigh now. And just notice if you can keep your foot relaxed, if you can keep your leg very relaxed. So we're just sitting up here, holding ourselves up using our core now. So keeping a nice longer back if we can. Rolling on the in and the outside if we wish. And then getting down into the calf as well. And then just continue a couple more times. And then let's relax here for a moment. So we're going to finish off this little rest and restore practice with a couple of deep breaths. So you can sit with your legs crossed if you wish. I like to sit that way, but it's up to you. Your legs can be straight. You can be on top of a pillow. And all we're going to do here is we're going to finish off. We're just going to take 6 deep breaths, just 6 simple breaths. But every time you exhale, I invite you to simply hum. Just create a gentle hum, almost like the sound of a bee around you. And if you're afraid of bees, don't think of the sound of a bee. Just a nice, gentle hum like a song. So let's take our palms, place them face down on top of our thighs. And when you are ready together, let's take a deep breath. Inhale. Exhale and hum for 6 deep breaths. So as you sit here for a moment, just notice how you're feeling right now. The beauty of that humming breath is that it immediately stimulates our vagus nerve, which is essentially our control center from the gut running to the brainstem. Runs all through our body. It's almost like our power nerve throughout our body. But it allows us to tap into our parasympathetic nervous system, or nervous system that is meant for us to rest and rest, rejuvenate, restore, balance, just finding that sense of calm, that sense of peace, releasing all of the activity, all of the stuff around us. So just kind of notice how that feels. I'm just going to come forward to chat with you just for a second. How did that one feel? Like I said, do that one every day if you like. Even if you just take little bits and pieces of what we did today and do it every day. Just roll the legs every day. Just where are you feeling the areas that you need that extra care, that extra love? If you're looking for even more stuff to do after you've done this one for a few times, then you can follow me on my YouTube channel, which is Breathe Yoga and Wellness with Roxanne. In there, you'll find different playlists where there's different breathing practices, different restorative practices, restorative flows, a lot of things that you can do in there. So feel free to check through there and see what else you like. And as always, no worries. I'm always here to give you guys more and more ways that you can find balance in your life. Have an awesome day. We'll see you at the studio.